Hello, good evening. My name is Frank Ofe, and today's presentation Lab 5 Benchmark Challenges Your Hacking Skills, CYB 610-0500. Um, today's live assignment and also the lab it was a penetration testing and how you use Metasploit to do vulnerability scanning, so pen testing to identify vulnerabilities within our environment. To perform penetration testing on Metasploit, two, on the VM, I will begin by identifying the scope and objective. The test emphasize the identification of vulnerabilities and the simulation of potential cyber attack scenarios. The initial reconnaissance phases were utilized to such as the nmap and the network discovery and mapping, as well as NICTO for identifying web-based vulnerabilities. Following these, vulnerability scans will be conducted using Nessus to assess and prioritize identify issues before proceeding to the exploitation stage. Value of penetration testing. Penetration testing plays a critical role in organizational security by uncovering real-world vulnerabilities that malicious actors could exploit. By proactively identify and mitigate these weaknesses, organizations can minimize the likelihood of security breaches, safeguard sensitive information, and ensure compliance with regulatory standards. Additionally, penetration testing provides valuable insight into effectiveness of current security measures, enabling continuous improvement and reducing risks for a future attack. Handling handling failures. If encountered a failure while following established procedure, I would begin by thoroughly dismounting the deviation and its impact on the test. Next, I would investigate the root cause to determine whether the issue stemmed from unclear guidelines, resources limitations, or technical constraint. Based on the analysis could adjust my approach to ensure compliance procedures and implementing to avoid this issue from happening. Kelly VM scans. We're using the Kelly Linux to do VM scans. The particular tool that was naturally initiated to use, which is the Nmap and also the Nikto scans and also OAP ZAP scans. Let me begin with explaining the way the lab was conducted using the Nmap scan. The Nmap scan are essentially in penetration testing used to identify open port and services running on the target systems. By mapping the network, NAP provides a critical information on potential vulnerabilities that could be exploited, scan types such as TCP, UDP, and STAVE scans, making it vulnerable for comprehensive security assessment. Nectoscan. Nectoscan can also use to detect vulnerability in web servers by scanning for outdated software, misconfiguration, and common security issues. Let me talk about also the OWASP ZAP scan. The OWASP ZAP scan are designed to identify security vulnerabilities in the web application by simulating various types of attacks, such as popular open source tools. It automates the detection of common issues like the SQL injection, cross-site scripting, those SSS, and also other vulnerability that could compromise web application security. Let me continue on risk assessment and the gap analysis. The finding from Nmap, NICTO, and OWASP scan uncovered several high-risk vulnerabilities. Nmap identified open port and could be exploited if not properly secured, while the NICTO had highlighted outdated software and misconfiguration on the web server. Additionally, the OWASP detects common web application vulnerabilities, including cross-site scripting, SSS, and also potential SQL injection point. These vulnerabilities align with current cybersecurity trends, while attackers often exploit web vulnerabilities through phishing campaign or deploying malware targeting exposed services. Countermeasures and expected results. To address the identified vulnerabilities, I recommend implementing several critical countermeasures. First, adopting a robust patch management system will ensure that software constantly updated. Mitigating the risk associated with updated components identified by NICTO. Restricting access to open port by implementing strict access controls entry. Additionally, deploy a web application firewall WAF will strengthen web security based attacks such as the cross-site scripting and also the SQL injection as highlighted by OWASP ZAP. Strategy and system hardening for security reduction. Mitigating strategy and risk reduction. The strategy emphasizes addressing high priority vulnerability through a comprehensive layered security approach by integrating regular patch management, surge configuration, web application firewall protection, and robust across controls. We establish multiple lines of defense against potential threats. This multiple layered approach not only resolve current vulnerabilities but also foster a proactive security posture capable of adapting to emerging cyber security threats. System hardening and security mitigation. This strategy effectively reduces risks by addressing critical vulnerabilities, restricting unauthorized access, and minimizing exposure to potential attacks. By strengthening the system through these measures, exploitable weaknesses are significantly reduced, making it far more challenging for attackers to compromise the network or corrupt operations. Implementing changes and impacted vulnerabilities. Justification for implemented changes. The implemented changes disable unnecessary services, applying software update, and configuring additional firewall rules are were selected based on their cost effectiveness, simplicity, and high impact. These measures are resource significant, quite to implement, quick to implement, and directly and address the high risk vulnerability identified in the scans. By focusing on the critical areas such as the exposed services and outdated software, The changes significantly decreases the attack surface while maintaining operational continuity and enhance overall security posture. Address vulnerabilities. Disabling unnecessary services effectively mitigated as risks associated with open port, minimizing the potential for exploit on the updated protocols such as the FTP and the Telnet. Applying software updates resolve known vulnerability in outdated packages. Reinforce define against exploited. Additionally, implementing firewall rules restricted access critical services like SSH, reducing unauthorized access to opportunity and enhancing overall access control. Vulnerability impacted by the change. To pinpoint vulnerabilities, I would begin with automated scan using tools like the Nexus, NATO, and to detect network and server. Vulnerabilities focus on easily exploitable configuration such as open port and updated software. The web application OIZAP will be utilized for both automated and manual testing for identify weaknesses in web forms, cookies, and user input by analyzing and modifying HTTP requests. Lastly, considering the mapping this overall of security posture, emphasizing critical areas for remediation. Expected actual results. The participated outcome, including the decreased exposure to vulnerabilities, restricted access to open port, and reduction in updated software packages. These expectations were largely met as disabling unnecessary services and applying software updated. The deliberately variable design for Metasploit 2 meant that some vulnerabilities persisted despite update, underscoring the importance of implementation additional compensating control in such environment. Lessons learned from all these tests and these scans from system hardening, securing the Metaplus 2 VM emphasize the critical role of layered defenses. Certain vulnerabilities, particularly the legacy systems, by persistent despite implementing standard patching and access controls, highlighting the necessity of for robust multi-faceted security measures. This process also underscored the importance of balancing immediate high impact remediation effort and comprehensive long-term strategy to mitigate underlying risks. Ultimately, the experience reinforced the value of consistent vulnerability management and also adaptive security practice to ahead of evolving threat. Here are the references, and I hope my presentation uh, uh, makes sense tonight. And also, thank you for listening to me. I hope I'll see you next time and enjoy your evening. Thank you.